It's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for December 2023. So on December 13th, just about 8 hours after that new moon in Sagittarius peaks, we are going to see Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves, go retrograde in this Capricorn energy. So we have a lot to unpack, and let's start off with the fact that this may feel a little bit familiar because this time last year in 2022, we had Mercury in Capricorn energy. We had Mercury go retrograde in Capricorn energy, and we actually entered into 2023 under Mercury's retrograde in this Capricorn energy. So of course, a retrograde is a time to reflect back, to review, to revise, to recalibrate, to reorganize, redesign, restructure, all of those words. But we have to consider the fact that this year is a little bit different, seeing as, of course, we are now entering into the timeline mergence. We are approaching the solstice very quickly. We are in the experimental phase of this new version of self, of this new vibration, of this new frequency that we're trying to anchor in. And because of the wackadoodle energies at play and the particular point of ascension that the collective is at, this one is going to feel a little bit heavier, a little bit more weighted, a little bit more crazier, a little bit more chaotic than normal. Basically, we're in a testing phase. We are being tested to see if we've actually learned anything, if we're able to take what it is that we have previously learned and integrate it into the present moment so that we can essentially avoid repeating some of the same past patterns, the same mistakes, maybe the same type of goals that we don't have enough structure, we don't have enough of a foundation to actually bring to life. The Capricorn energy, again, a cardinal earth energy, is initiating something new. Cardinal signs are where we change up the seasons, where we're making a major change. And because Mercury's involved, we're having a major change in our thoughts, in our ideas, in our perspective, in our understanding. Now, Capricorn energy wants to think about the long-term vision, the long-term goals. But in a retrograde, reflecting back, we really have to take a good look at how it is that we've actually gotten here. What it is that we could do differently if given the opportunity to have a second go, and what it is that we've learned from this particular point of view that we can definitely integrate in the here and now and save ourselves a lot of chaos, a lot of craziness, a lot of drama that we just don't need, especially moving into a brand new year. So of course, we entered into the pre-retrograde shadow period back on November 25th. That's when we had Mercury and Capricorn energy reach that 22 degrees, 11 minutes of Sagittarius energy that we will be going direct in. So again, just a little bit of a retrograde rant here. We enter into the pre-retrograde shadow period when we hit the degree that we will eventually see that planet go direct in. So we were at 22 degrees, 11 minutes of Sagittarius energy, November 25th. That is the exact degree that we will be going direct in on January 1st. So you may be saying, okay, so we're going retrograde in Capricorn energy. How do we end up in Sagittarius energy? Well, we're going back. We're retracing our steps. We are definitely reflecting on that particular point of time, and a lot has popped off since November 25th. We are definitely seeing the craziness, the chaos really pressurize us, really flip the switch, activating some darker thoughts, some darker energies within us in order for us to have a choice point on whether or not we are going to release those particular energies, whether or not we are going to continue to anchor into those energies and continue to do the same old thing. Of course, many of us at the breaking point, should I say, where we are not going back, where we are not willing to repeat patterns and behaviors of the past, where we are willing to do something different to try and get a different result. So, of course, we're going retrograde at 8 degrees, 29 minutes here in this Capricorn energy. On the 21st, which of course is the solstice, that's when we close the door on this old karmic energy, this old karmic chapter, and where the tables essentially get reset. The battlefield gets reset. The karma gets reset, and we move into a different chapter. So the solstice energy, definitely very potent. That's when we anchor in the vibration, the signature frequency that we will be working with in this next chapter. And then on the 22nd, we are going to have Mercury and the Sun come together in a conjunction, which is definitely going to change the game. That is called a combustion of sorts. And what happens when Mercury and the Sun gets together is it kind of initiates a brand new chapter in our mental plane, in our thoughts, in our ideas, in our perspective and understanding. And so while Mercury retrograde is meant for us to kind of sit in a certain level of confusion and kind of see where it is that certain topics and themes and conversations and circumstances are coming back from the past to test us, to see whether or not we've learned anything, whether or not we can override those particular narratives, that particular perspective and understanding. We are definitely in a situation where on the 22nd, when the Sun and Mercury have this combustion, there's going to be like a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. A big illumination, an aha moment, puzzle pieces just raining down from the sky to really put together this big vision, this big picture, this big perspective, this big understanding. And then on the 23rd, we're going to see Mercury move back into that Sagittarius energy. And again, just a little bit of a reflection back into November when Mercury was in Sag energy, we had all these big ideas. We had this more optimistic, more positive outlook. We were kind of restoring our mental plane, restoring our heart space. We were renewing in our hope, in our faith, in our wishes for the future. And we were definitely piecing together a different path moving forward. Of course, that Sag energy really pushes us into acting as the observer, aligning with the higher self, tapping in to that wisdom in that knowledge that we've already accumulated, which means that we are definitely going to have a major change in our perspective, in our understanding once we dip back into that Sag energy. And as I previously mentioned, on January 1st, we will see Mercury go direct at 22 degrees, 11 minutes in Sagittarius energy, which is a very divinely scripted number. It's a divinely scripted degree. This is a fate degree. This is an opportunity for us to tap into the creator energy that I have been talking about for many, many moons now. We're getting there. We're anchoring ourselves in under the solstice. We have this epiphany right after the solstice. We shift back into that Sagittarius energy on the 23rd. And then we go through the full moon in Cancer on the 26th with this new perspective, this new narrative, this new understanding, this new reflective point. And we are starting to piece together the forward movement that we have to take in order to collapse the old timelines, the old version of self, the old ideas, and really clear things up for us to start putting the pieces together to build this new foundation, this new structure, this new bridge towards where it is that we would now like to go. So, of course, retrogrades get a bad rap. Everybody, especially here in the New Age spiritual community, likes to really hype these events up. Like it is just the most horrible period of time that we could ever experience. And of course, if you're actually in touch with the truth, you would know that retrogrades are a positive time in the calendar in order for us to take a time out. In order for that mental plane, because we're talking about a Mercury retrograde, shuts down so that we can learn how to trust our intuition. This is a time where we do have to take a pause. We do have to look back. Many of us constantly in survivor mode, pushing the boundary, just getting through the day, just trying to stay positive, looking towards the future. When realistically speaking, a lot of the confusion that many of us are experiencing at this time is because we haven't done the work to review the past. A lot of the answers, a lot of the clarity that many of us are looking for as far as the futuristic vision, dream, and goal go lie in the past. This is the whole back to the future element that I've been speaking upon for many, many moons now. So this gives us a time to pause. It gives us a time to reflect. It gives us a time to reorganize, to restructure, to recalibrate our energies, to get in alignment between our heart and head, to understand where it is that we have to kind of look back, kind of summarize what it is that we've gone through, especially over this past year, pluck out those silver linings, understand what we could do differently, and integrate that information, that wisdom, that knowledge into our being in the here and now, so that we're not caught up with the same kind of tasks and chores and tests when we try to move forward. This is a time where our intuition is coming in strong, where there is a sense of heightened inner awareness, let's say, when we do need to kind of go back to some of the practices that maybe we've gotten away from in order for us to ground our energy out. Anytime that you're feeling crazy, you're feeling chaotic, the last thing that you need to be doing is pushing forward. You need to ground, you need to anchor, you need to just kind of step back, act as the observer, really reflect upon some of the situations, circumstances, topics, and themes that are coming up for you, that are triggering you, that are trying to keep you in a low vibration, a low frequency for that solstice anchor point, and try to override it. So this is where we're reworking a lot of different things, when we have to revisit our past studies, our past practices. We have to really kind of understand where it is that we've been kind of running around like a chicken with its head cut off, and where it is that we have to kind of stop, put the head back on the chicken, use some tape, if you will, Gorilla Glue maybe, in order to actually see what caused the head to be cut off in the first place. And so, as bleak as that analogy may be, that's how many of us are feeling. Crazy, chaotic. What am I going to do? Where am I going to break free? How am I ever going to get out of this funk? Where is my breakthrough? How am I going to fix these problems? This is the time. Mercury's retrograde. This is the time to come up with solutions. Now, again, in Capricorn energy, we're really not in the mood to talk about emotions unless it needs to be matter of fact in order to kind of smooth things over and provide a little bit of a foundation for other people to know where it is that we're at. But in the Capricorn energy, we don't want to small talk. We're only speaking on things that have relevance and importance, especially for progress and moving forward. We really aren't trying to create drama. We're trying to solve it. We're trying to come up with paths and plans and strategies. And although the retrograde is going to have us looking back, again, many of the answers that we're kind of seeking as far as futuristic plans go can be found in our previous experiences. So this retrograde is nothing to fear. It's something to actually settle into, lean all the way into. We have a lot to learn. We have a lot to explore. And let me just say that moving into 2024, we are being gifted with a beautiful opportunity. Not only Mercury, but we have some other planets kind of popping off as well. We have a beautiful opportunity to be entering into what I am deeming a very tough year. 2024, like I have a forecast coming out for it. It's going to be a very tough year of change and transformation. So if you haven't done the work up to this point, you're probably going to be rocked. And even if you have done the work up to this point, now is the time to see what has taken place over the previous 3 years actually come into fruition, good, bad, or otherwise. Things need to die, things need to collapse, things need to end in order for there to be a foundation, a clean slate, in order for new things to begin. So Mercury going direct on January 1st, especially at this divinely scripted degree, 22 degrees and 11 minutes of Sagittarius energy, we are going to have as much perspective, as much optimism, positivity, confidence as we could possibly have in our mental plane, in our dialogue, in our narrative, to jump into what is going to be a year of testing, a year of change, a year of transformation. And we are definitely going to see, again, if we can walk the walk and talk the talk.